Bonjour mon petit chifle, Amber here, and today is July 17th. I am starting a reading vlog that I am nervous to film. Today is the day at 8:23 p.m. Yes, I am behind. What were you doing all day, Amber? God knows. Anyway, today we're starting one of my most anticipated reads of the entirety of 2020. I've been on edge and antsy to own this book, and it's here. I mean, it's been here. I've had it for like what, a month or so. Anywho, but I finally have time to read it. It's time, and it's The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, and y'all, I'm nervous. Alright, backstory. Before backstory, this video is the third reading vlog I'm starting in July. Currently doing my monthly reading vlog that I do every month. The book I read just right before this was The City of Brass, and with that I started a reading vlog, like a spoilery reading vlog dedicated to the David Bad trilogy, and now I am starting my reading vlog for this book. I mean, of course, if you know anything about me, you know this book is going to get its own full vlog. The Hunger Games, if you don't know a little backstory, because this is where we started this paragraph, The Hunger Games is my favorite series of all time. As of November 2019, I have read the books 10 times, and then to mark the occasion, I have a Hunger Games tattoo. Love the books. When I found out that Suzanne Collins was writing a new book, I think I could have peed on myself. If I haven't been potty trained since I was 10 months old, my bladder would have malfunctioned. So I've been so excited hyping this book up. And then we found out that it was going to be about President Snow, and I'm like, did I ask for that? Because I've been asking for Phoenix games. If we're going to get a prequel, I'd love Phoenix Story or Haymitch or Mags or Joanna or literally anyone else. But alas, we have President Snow's backstory, so we have like a villain origin story essentially. And that's not why I'm nervous though, because I want to believe that she would have not tried to soften us toward President Snow in any sort of way. I'm nervous because I've heard a lot of mixed reviews of the book. I've seen a lot of people disappointed with this book, and I can't compute the fact that I might not like a Hunger Games book. I'm nervous. Also, this is big. This is a lot bigger than I thought it would be. But anywho, I'm going to stop talking now. I'm going to start reading this book because I'm already almost a whole day behind. Pray for me. Good evening. It's the next day. Today is the 18th of July. It's 7 o'clock on the dot, and I'm still running behind. I've not read anything today. And I started the vlog yesterday, didn't read anything. I read the first page, and then I stopped because I don't know why. I couldn't get past the first page because I was laughing so hard at the first sentence. Why? I really don't know why. First sentence, Coriolanus, once again, I mentioned this before, I'm going to have a really hard time calling Snow by his government name this whole time. Anywho, Coriolanus released a fistful of cabbage. I don't know why that made me laugh. I don't know why. Just the prospect of just why does he have a fist full of, I don't know. So I'm running behind. I had some things to do, some Zoom meetings today. There was one. I'm going to attempt to actually start reading this book. I think I'm getting in my own head about it. Why? I don't know. It's not that deep, Amber. It really isn't. But I'm nervous. Okay, quick question. I'm sure you can hear the TV and the air conditioning, but I'm on page 9. Yes, I've already changed locations. And Snow is putting on his fancy shirt for the reaping, and it says the cuffs and collar have been replaced with black velvet and the buttons are gold and ebony cubes, tesserae. But am I wrong? Or isn't tesserae the grain that they make their bread and whatnot out of in the books? Maybe because this is a prequel and this is like however many years maybe after the rebellion or whatever, the devil. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure, because that's the rations that they get to make like bread and stuff. That's what in the beginning Katniss is like to Prim, don't sign up for tesserae. Or am I wrong? Don't ask a single question. This is embarrassing. If I could open the book, that'd be really cool. I'm 48 pages into oh my god, I'm 48 pages into the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm thinking too much and letting people's opinions get to me. Like I haven't read period in like 3 days. But my point is, I'm popping in because I just read the line where Snow, I'm not going to call him by his name, Snow goes, he calls, what's her name, Lucy Gray, he calls her my girl. He goes, without turning, he knew it was the girl, or his girl, whatever, it's not first person. Without turning, he knew it was the girl, his girl, and I'm like, ooh, I don't like the way that feels. That doesn't, I'm not here for romance, if I'm being honest. I'm not here for him catching feelings for his tribute. Also, still 48 pages in, I feel like Suzanne is trying really hard to parallel Snow and his like backstory upbringing with Katniss, and I'm like, no, thank you, but no. I'm embarrassed. I don't know what I'm gonna do to rectify the situation. If I need to put the book down and then come back to it, because I'm also like wasting time. I could be reading other books. Y'all, I don't know what happened after that last clip that I filmed, but it's almost 2 a.m. right now, but I've managed to read 100 pages today. I am on page 140, and I'm actually starting to get into this book. I'm starting to get like invested in the story. I still think it's moving a little slowly, and I wish like something would happen. I mean, some things have happened. We've had the whole thing with Arachne, is that her name? Arachnid? These capital names. There's the one kid, Festus, who I keep calling Fetus, because that's how I keep reading it. And then the girl whose name looks like, what disease is that? I keep calling Listeria. I find Lucy Gray really intriguing. Snow is starting to feel things for her. I'm like, My hope is that in some way she is manipulating him for some reason. Also, that would explain why he's really turned into, or really started like turning into the monster that we know him as. Because like right now I'm not really vibing with, I mean, he has some unlikable qualities, but also we of course give him this sad backstory that's supposed to make us sympathize. Still doesn't. But I like Tigress being in this story. I like that they're cousins, and that gives us some backstory as to why when we meet her in Mockingjay, why she hates him so much. So I'm curious to see if we get that in this book. We're making waves, people. If I'm going to wear the bonnet in every vlog clip, I should probably start coordinating them to my shirts. really fast before my camera dies. I am about to start reading for the day. I'm on page 240. We're at the part where, oh, I've started calling Snow by his little nickname, Choreo, and I'm really mad about it because that's what I didn't want, for him to be like humanized and me to start calling him cute little nicknames. Anyway, Snow and Sejanus, my boy Sejanus, just snuck into the arena and Snow had to go get him out, and so we're at the aftermath of that, and I was very stressed out because I thought my boy was about to die, and I thought he was gonna like try to, well, he did mention killing himself, and I thought he was going to, and I wasn't prepared for that. But I'm curious to see what the aftermath and punishment for that's gonna be. So we're in the games. I don't know. I'm mad I started calling him by the nickname. Even in my notes. Ugh, I'm disgusted with myself. But anyway, I have a cute little Finnick bookmark that I might start using, because maybe that'll somehow send vibes to Miss Suzanne Collins that I would have preferred that I deserve a Finnick book. I'm just holding out hope still. So I have to go. My camera's about to die. Alright, so I am finally in part 3 of the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And, okay, and spoiler alert, Lucy Gray has just won the Hunger Games. And because of Snow's interference, he's now been sent to become a peacekeeper. And I don't really know how I feel about this development. On one hand, I'm like, I guess that would make sense as to really the turn of his character. What would start him on the path to be like the Snow that we know. But I don't know. It just, I don't know. Like, because at the end of the day, does it really matter? Y'all had a winner regardless. But also, what was I going to say? Also, I'm assuming that this turn is going to be because he doesn't get the girl, and that's such a cheap reasoning for him becoming a villain. tree. It's the hanging tree. We're about to see. I shouldn't be yelling about a hanging right now, but hi. Few things. That's not my face. As you saw in the previous clip, I painted my nails to match the cover of the book today. That's not what I'm here to say. So I'm on page 440 of this book, which means I have, what, 77, I did the math earlier, pages left of this book. So tomorrow I will hopefully finish it. But getting to the end of this story is so tedious and so draining. I feel like at this point I'm just wading through so much filler and padding. Get to the point. Please just get to the point. Like, at this point, I cannot believe that so much of this book is about Lucy Greybeard. And on one hand, if it's going to be about her, I would have preferred a book from her point of view, but it's not. It's from his, and his like obsession with her, because he's not in love with her. He thinks he owns her. Come on. And excuse me, how can someone explain to me how she developed any sort of feelings aside from please keep me alive for him? What? And also, I feel like I have a theory that Lucy Gray is in some way related to Katniss. What with her and like the Cubbies, their love of music reminds me of Katniss's dad, and like a lot, like all of the music that Katniss talks about and sings comes back to this storyline, like the hanging tree, the what's it called? Whatever, I can't remember. I wrote it down. It's almost 1 a.m. The song, the mountain song, the meadow song, the something, the valley song, that's what it is. Where Peeta's like, when we were in kindergarten, the teacher asked if you knew the valley song, your hand shot straight up. Wow. And the deep in the meadow, like all of those come back to Lucy Gray. So that, and they're like I'm assuming this is Katniss's stream. They just dug up some Katniss roots, and I'm just like, I see that. I see it. I don't really care either way. But it also, if that's the case, it's really strange to me. I mean, one, it would make sense as to why he was so obsessed with Katniss, but considering all that he did to ensure that Lucy Gray won, then he turned around and punished Katniss for doing everything to keep both her and Peeta alive. It doesn't make sense to me. And I only have 77 pages, and I don't see it coming to make sense to me. What is the purpose of this book?
What was the reason? What was the reason? What was the reason?
Alright, we're in the last day of this. I have 77 pages left. I'm finally sitting down to read. I've been busy today. Baking some more bread. I'm back on my Peeta Mellark mess. But yeah, let's do this. Ew, my lips are so chapped. I'm sorry. Well, at least Miss Collins is always consistent, killing the character I care most about. I'm still reading this book, y'all. You have got to be kidding me. So you're telling me, you're telling me this whole thing took a final turn because Snow didn't want to play in some dirt or live in the wild with Lucy Gray. So that's what finally cracked him, I guess. And then he goes out with a gun, right? And then gets mad when and then he has the nerve to basically be adopted by Sejanus' parents. I still am finishing the epilogue, but I'm so mad that I don't even want to finish it. This book, what is the reason? Well, it's done. I did it, and I am unsure what I was meant to get out of this book, especially considering the fact that the 10th Hunger Games? I don't care. Was then wiped from record, from history. So once again, what was the point of this story? What was the point of this whole Lucy Gray narrative? I'm disappointed, one, that a lot of this stems from some romance. Especially, I think what makes me so upset about that is considering it took 3 books for Katniss to even consider that she might love someone that wasn't her sister. And I just read this whole book about some boy's feelings, and then essentially being not in love with the girl, obsessed with the girl, wanting to own her, and then making her some sort of villain. I don't, am I missing something? Am I missing something? I was going to give this book a 4-star because up until the end, I didn't necessarily hate it. I enjoyed pointing out like all of the references to the original trilogy. That was like fun for me, and seeing how all of this was, all of what we know of the Hunger Games came to be, even though everything we know of the Hunger Games coming to be because of the genius that is President Snow is kind of weird, kind of too easy, too stupid for me. But then I got to the end, and it's like, so remember how I was like, this is so tedious and taking so long to get to a point? And then it's like, Suzanne's like, alright, we're gonna make everything happen in the last 70 pages of the book. And I'm like, no, you're not. The only way it possibly works for the big finale is because we already know who Snow is. We already know what's coming.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
I didn't ask for this book. I really didn't. I begged for Finnick's book. But maybe it's a good thing I didn't get it. I'm gonna come back and close this out at some point. Alright guys, let's finish this. Let's wrap this up. I'm really trying to form my words. I'm still struggling to understand the purpose of this book, the reasoning, what I was supposed to get out of it. Of all of the people in the Hunger Games universe that could have gotten a book, that could have gotten a prequel to the original trilogy, I promise you Snow's the last person on my list that I would have chosen. I didn't need it. I didn't ask for it. I didn't want it. I don't care about his backstory. I don't care what made him into what we knew him as. I don't care. Especially not when we have Haymitch's story that could have been told. We have I've been begging for Phoenix Games since we were introduced to him the first time I read Catching Fire. Joanna exists. Mags. Literally anybody else. Prim's goat would have been more interesting of a story. Effie Trinket is there. Senna. Okay, if we had to have a story by someone in the Capitol, I would have loved to have read how Senna became a stylist and then also was a rebel, requested District 12. Please show me where I said Coriolanus Snow. Okay, so part of my issue, I have several issues. One, for me, it reads so differently than the original books, and part of me is like, okay, possibly that's because it's told from like the capital as opposed to the district, so like the way they talk, the way they interact with people, I don't know, it's different. They're like in the beginning of the first Hunger Games book, they're making fun of the I don't know why I did that, the capital accent, so that's one thing. But it just, I didn't connect to it the way I connected to the original books, but I'm assuming it's supposed to emphasize the difference between capital and district. My whole thought process reading this book is, am I supposed to feel bad for Snow? Because I really don't. I don't want this I'm poor and shut up, please. I felt like at times Suzanne was trying too hard to parallel Snow's storyline to Katniss's storyline. I also feel like there was a disconnect because in this book we're not in the games, we are watching the games. We are outside forces, just like watching the games happen instead of experiencing them alongside Katniss. We're in her head and going through the games with her. We're just watching from the point of view of people who see these kids as pawns. Two things I did like, forget Snow, forget corny anus Snow. We could have had this story from Sejanus's point of view. Literally the only character in this book that matters. If we had to get a book from the 10th Hunger Games, from a mentor, what about that one? I also did really like that Tigress is in this book. I like seeing her with Snow and then being cousins, but like they have that like sibling dynamic. I just wish that we had gotten more, I guess, as to what I wish in this book we had figured out what it was that turned her against him, because they're like really close in the book. I also like seeing how the games as we know them in the trilogy came to be, like the house, you know, sponsors and the whole betting thing and the stylists and like the hosts and having tokens from home and all that jazz. That's one thing that did help me get through a good chunk of the book, was I liked pointing out references to the original books, like all the things I just said, and then there's like references to the hanging tree and a lot of the songs that are in the original book. But my main question is, why is this so long? Why does it need to be this heavily padded? Because that's what it is. It's so heavily padded. Getting to the end of the book was so tedious. I'm getting a headache. Like I said, I begged for Phoenix book, but at the same time, maybe I'm glad that I didn't get it. If it was going to be this, I don't want like padding. I want my boy being lethal with a trident. I want him loving Annie with his whole heart. I don't want him being abused by the Capitol, but you know, the story and becoming our rebel king. Another thing, I frequently forgot that they were teenagers in this book, especially Lucy Gray. Is just very Like, there would be times like, oh, she's only 16. I'm like, what do you mean? That's a 35-year-old woman. What are you talking about? Snow's only 18. What are you talking about? He's 27.
Brooding hot 25-year-old teenager with a dark past and a violent temper, whose anger and toxic traits can only be assuaged by our main character because she loves him, and that matters.
Speaking of Lucy Gray, every relationship with that this man had, I guess it's supposed to be that way, it just seemed flat and pale and just unnecessary, like I said, which probably is intentional. So Janice's rebel plot, like, that could have been something that could, but it feels like it was just something that we were told about but went nowhere. I suspected the boy was going to die from the start, and probably at Snow's hands, but I don't know. And then with Lucy Gray, specifically that whole little side plot with Billy Tope, I think that was just thrown in there because, you know, jealousy. But also, like, the Cubby, we just got told random bits about them, like their names or their origin, explanation. I guess they were just thrown in there to as an excuse for the songs and the tie-in with Katniss and the original series, and I'm really disappointed that they actually had no connection, because that would have made more sense to me. I don't know. I said, there was a point where I said to my mom goes, "You're probably being set up for a cliffhanger." I was like, no, I don't want another book. I don't want another one of these. I'm good. She's like, "You're gonna get one." I'm like, please don't. That's okay. That's really alright. The main thing I want to know is, when did Miss Collins decide? When did she make all of these decisions? Does she always know this was in Snow's past, like the mentor thing, and the whole Lucy Gray, even though, like, that defeats the purpose if we're just going to delete it from memory? I don't understand the purpose of then having this book if it's something that they got rid of, whatever, Tigress being his cousin, etc., or if she just kind of was winging it, pulled it out of her butt, was like, yeah, that sounds alright. How much money is this? This was like $20-something, and I want it back. $27.99. I'd like it back. Do I regret having 2 copies of this book? No. Only because I am Hunger Games trash. So, and I still think that the Waterstones naked cover is beautiful, and intend to display it one day when I have my proper book set up. But so I read the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. If you read it, let me know what you thought. If you liked it, please let me know why. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like me, feel free to subscribe. All my places are down here, so you can follow me and I'll follow you back, and we can be buds, and I'll see you very soon. Finnick deserved better. Goodbye.